Oops. There we go. Hello, YouTube and Substack and everybody else. Let me get Instagram going here in a second. Warm day today. Ended up being 68 out, but with the sunlight, it's like a little bright and warm in my apartment today, so we shall see. Oh, come on. What's going on here? Oh, did I not? Oh, shit. I didn't update Discord. God damn it. Oh, shit. Hang on. Let's see if I can do this manually. Sorry, Substack. I forgot to... I thought I updated Substack. Let me see here. I did not. Give me a second here, guys. Substack. All right. Let's update Substack here. Oh. Let me remove Substack and see if I can re-add Substack. Substack new. No. All right, you know what I need to do? Oh, let me try this. Sorry, guys, I'm going to try one more thing here. You know what? This is really pissing me off. Substack, but it's not going to let me put the key in here. Shoot. All right. Sorry, guys. I did. See, this happens after like a weekend. I sit here and then I kind of go, like I don't quite know what I'm doing. It says I'm live. I thought I'm live on Substack. Hang on a second here. Let's see. I don't think I got Substack to work. No. Let me go to the stream page and try it this way. It's not going to let me go to the page. Oh, shit. Shit. Okay. Sorry, guys. I need to try one more thing here. Sorry. We're having a Substack meltdown. I've got one more idea. Let's start this. All right. Remove Substack. Now let me create an entirely new thing. Substack new. All right. Stream key. Boom. Oh, there we go. Nickname. All right. Subject new. Server URL. It's very complicated, this whole thing. Server URL, stream key. Okay. Now let's see what happens. There we go. Now let's see if I'm streaming on Substack. Sorry, guys. Hopefully I'm streaming on Substack. Oh, come on! I just added them. Oh, my God. Ugh. Oh, did it finally work? Did it finally work? Did Substack finally join? I think, oh, thank God Substack started. Okay. I screwed it up, Substack. Sorry, I almost lost you guys. I entered the wrong information and I couldn't get you guys to go live. Phew. Hey, Justin and Ashley Beese. There we go. Hey, Terry. Yeah, okay. We're good now. Sorry, YouTube, everybody else. I screwed it up. Every time I do this, I've got to copy codes from Substack and Instagram into my main thing. And it's this whole complicated process. And if I get it wrong like I do today, it screws everything up. All right, let me start TikTok, and then we are good. Phew. All right, got that working. All right, TikTok, we are good. Excellent. We are now live everywhere. Savoir faire is everywhere. All right, welcome, guys. Welcome. John Aravosis here. Talking to you live from Washington, D.C. We got a lot of news today. As you know, this is my daily news show, Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern. We're going to talk about the assassination attempts, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about the war in Iran. We're going to talk a little bit about Ukraine, some shitty stuff happening there, too, with Israel. So we've got a number of things to talk with you guys about. Boy, that was horrible prepositions there. Number of things to talk with you about this evening. There we go. Anyway, so welcome, guys. I'm John Aravosis. You guys know the way the show works. I've got a series of topics I'd like to talk about. I do try to sort of pick some of what you guys are asking throughout the show, but basically what we really do is I go through the news first, and then at the end of the news, we've got a good 15, sometimes even 30 minutes that I hang out and we take your questions and everything else. So I will try to grab some as I'm going through, but I've got like specific news items I like to hit on to give a summary of the day. So I don't hit all your comments at the beginning, but we'll get to it. Having said that, Please keep the gifts coming. I very much appreciate your guys' gifts on TikTok and YouTube, or becoming a monthly member, which includes Substack and Discord, among other places. Your support supports me. So thank you for that. And with no further ado, let's get going here, or further ado. The King and Queen of the UK are here today. They're here for 4 days, I think, a 4-day state visit to the U.S. Trump is very excited. Ironic, it was actually kind of funny. I should have grabbed the photo. I meant to grab the photo to show you guys. But Trump was trying to like redo all these things in front of the White House to impress the king, and they didn't finish. So the road in front of the White House is half asphalted, like the asphalt black. They've got like black circles around the manhole covers. Everything else isn't covered. The street is a disaster. And I'm sorry, but it's pretty funny because, you know, what do you do? So the serious topic that happened this weekend, which you're all familiar with, was a gunman showed up at the White House Correspondents Dinner event at the Washington Hilton here in Washington, D.C., not very far away from me right here. I was actually having dinner about 2 blocks away. And kind of crazy, half asphalt. That's good. That's good, Gunther. Kind of crazy night. So I don't want to like go through all the details because sometimes I feel like you guys know the basic details, so I don't want to necessarily go through everything. But basically, once a year, there is a dinner in Washington, D.C. Called the White House Correspondents Dinner. And it is a dinner of the reporters who cover the White House and affiliated reporters. It's about 2,500 people show up. It's not just reporters. It's White House officials, administration officials, people in the media, like I said, people in movie stars, celebrities, things like that. Let's see what my dog is doing now again. Sasha! My dog is on my balcony disappearing. There you are. Come on. I know what you're doing. Thank you. There you go. Good girl. All right? Hi. Okay? Okay. Yeah, whenever my dog disappears, it means she's eating leaves or whatever. So just making sure. No, you're fine for now. You don't need anything right now. You'll get treats in a bit. Not right now. Not right now. So big dinner once a year, 2,500 people, big deal. Very nice affair. People in Washington, liberal activist types like to make fun of the event. I don't agree. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, it's horrible. No, it's not. I think it's actually nice that you can have an event where the reporters get together, the president shows up. I mean, Trump refused all these years. Normal presidents show up, cabinet members show up, again, some Hollywood types show up, and it's a very nice get-together. Some liberals hate it. I think I'm sorry. I think it's kind of a nice event. I went once. I was a guest somebody once. I've only been once, but it was a lot of fun. Actually, I pissed people off. I should have grabbed the photo. It's on my other computer. I pissed people off because this is back in like 2006. And who do I run into but Katherine Harris? Katherine Harris was the Florida Secretary of State who helped throw the election to Bush, right? And famous, and she's wearing these baubles, these like, either rhinestones or diamonds, who knows what they were. Crazy stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And I said, oh, Miss Harris, could I please get a photo with you? And I've got this photo of her and she's not just bedazzled, but baubled, right? I thought it was the campiest photo ever. Oh my God, people freaked out. Oh my God, how dare you? Look at you, you're being friends with her. You've betrayed us. And I mean, it was campy as hell. In any case, but that's what the dinner is. It's a chance for everybody to get together. I was standing in line, very weird. I was standing in line with a Democratic senator, because you have to go through security to get it. Basically, you walk in, and as I recall, it's downstairs. So you got to go down some stairs and then wait in a long line to go through security, and the security then lets you into the ballroom, right? And the ballroom fits like 2,500 people. It's huge. And I'm in line for security, and there's a Democratic senator there at the time. I'm not going to say who, a Southern Democratic senator who, and I really should have taken notes. All I remember was he was talking to me about taking naked hot tub baths and how much fun it is and if I'd ever done it and I ought to really do it sometime. And I was just going, okay, Senator, like, okay, thank you. I mean, it was very weird. It was It was not an obvious, first of all, it was a Democrat. It was not an obvious suspect. Let's put it that way. Democratic, it was not an obvious suspect. But these are the, oh, he must have been hitting on me. What else was he doing? I mean, he was clearly flirting. Yeah. Have you ever taken, it was like watching the movie Airplane, or Airplane is the funny one? So, have you ever taken a sauna? Or a hot tub? Have you ever done it naked with a man? I mean, it was just like, okay, whatever. It was very weird. It was very weird. I know, trust me. And in the back of my head, I'm going, this seems like a networking opportunity. The devil on this side is going, what could I get out of this? I don't know. Oh, sorry, dog. You okay? You all right? Hi. That's okay. Oh, boy. Okay. Anyway, very, very funny stuff. What is on your head? I'm trying to figure out what that. Okay, thank you. Any case, it was very funny. So the shooting. So this is at the Washington Hilton, big hotel. Like I said, 2,500 people, and president shows up. Everybody shows up. There is no security getting into the hotel because it's a hotel. There is security getting into the ballroom. Huge security, long line, metal detector, Secret Service everywhere. Right? Well. This guy comes, he's from California, again, allegedly, right? You always have to say alleged to be fair. The alleged shooter is from California. He takes a train from California to Chicago to Washington, D.C., which is very interesting. We don't do that in this country. One does not take trains like that because they're horrible. The train alone from like Washington, D.C. to Chicago, because I'm from Chicago, is something like, is it 24 hours or something? It's horrible. I just remember it being, it's horrible, the train from Washington, D.C. to Chicago. It's absolutely horrible. And to California, forget it. But he was allegedly bringing guns with him. And if you're bringing guns, you can't bring them on an airplane without declaring them, right? But you can bring them on a plane because nobody checks your luggage getting on a train. Nobody checks your luggage getting on a train. So that would make sense why he would take a train, again, allegedly, right? We're going to be fair, allegedly take a train from California to Washington, D.C. So he gets to Washington on Friday. The event is Saturday night. He checks into the same hotel, and that allows him to basically not have to walk up to the hotel, but simply come down in the elevator and have fun. So apparently what he does, and again, I don't have the blow-by-blow of where he was, but all we know is he is not on the floor of the event. He's on another floor of the hotel. As I said, you walk in on one floor and then you take stairs down to the basement area where the ballroom is. So he's not in the ballroom area. He's not on that basement level. He's on the next level up, standing next to CNN's Wolf Blitzer, of all people, because Blitzer got a first-person view and was on the air. Literally, Blitzer was a couple feet away from the guy, and the guy takes out his gun and I believe starts shooting. And actually what might have happened, judging by the video, he might have taken out his gun and run. Now, I don't know whether he shot first and then run, or whether he ran first and then shot, but bottom line is he was shooting a couple feet away from Wolf Blitzer of CNN. A cop or some security guy was there, jumped on top of Blitzer and knocked him to the ground and covered him with his body, which was really amazing. I mean, that's really selfless. I mean, I know that's these guys' job, but that is just an incredibly, I'm petting the dog here, that is an incredibly selfless thing to do, right? So Blitzer's fine. Everyone's fine, which is good. One Secret Service agent was shot, but he had a bulletproof vest on, so he wasn't severely injured. From what I understand, you still can get hurt, even with a bulletproof vest. There's a lot of force coming at you, but he was not seriously injured. We don't know beyond that. And the shooter is subdued on the ground. Oddly, they get pictures of his face on the ground. It's a little weird. They send them to Trump. Trump releases them publicly. It's a little weird. Probably not great for the fairness of the trial. He allegedly had a shotgun. He allegedly had a pistol. He allegedly had knives. He's from California. He allegedly had a manifesto of some kind. Sort of a long letter about being angry at Trump and his cabinet officials, how he didn't want to hurt the Secret Service unless they got in the way. He didn't want to hurt police. He didn't want to hurt any of the guests at the event, but he wanted to go after Trump and his cabinet. That's what it says. He was brought into court today, charged with Well, they charged him. I mean, the media didn't explain this. They claimed, among other things, he was charged with the attempted assassination of the president. I'm a little suspicious on that one. Now, who knows? I mean, I'm a lawyer, but I don't practice law. But I'm a little curious about this, only because his letter said he was going to, in order, the president and the cabinet and this kind of stuff, right? Once he got there, he wasn't anywhere near the president and cabinet. And I don't know kind of how that works, unless the attempted part works. In other words, my point is, he didn't try to shoot the president. He didn't. But maybe they get you on, and I'm sure this is true under the law, that if you make preparations to do that crime, that is still a crime, right? You know, making the preparations, traveling cross country with your weapons, booking the hotel. So it's an attempt, exactly, as Naflati just said, it's an attempt that was thwarted. So maybe it's okay to call it an attempt. I just was curious because when I heard it as a lawyer, I went, well, he didn't try to kill the president. He made plans to, right? Almost as if you made plans to rob a bank, and then when you got there, you robbed a grocery store instead. That's the only thing that confused me a little, right? Because he didn't fire at Trump. Trump wasn't on the floor, but all the planning to do it, I'm assuming, is a crime as well. In any case, that's one interesting question I have just as a lawyer about sort of how that fits in. Interestingly, the night of the shooting, which was Saturday night, Donald Trump acted presidential. He wasn't an idiot. It was kind of surprising, actually. He was very presidential. He said he wanted to go back to the White House. He wanted to first return and give a speech. They said, no, it's too dangerous. So he said, okay, I'm going to go to the White House and give a speech from there. And he goes to the White House, and he was normal. He gave like a little press conference. He was normal. He said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was very pleased at how everybody came together, the media. He goes, I had a really nasty speech. Of course he did. He had a really nasty speech planned to attack everybody in the room. And his original speech, and he said, but everyone really came together after the shooting, and I was just really impressed and how nice it was. And you're going, wow, this 79-year-old, evil, vicious, horrible human being actually has the capacity to be normal and has the capacity to be a normal president. I have not seen him many times. Actually, I've never seen him do this. He's never been a normal president in the face of like disaster or something, right? So that was good. He gave a good statement. He did say that he was clearly, and then his people really went nuts with it. He was trying to use the shooting as justification for building his ballroom. Mind you, remember, he's building this ballroom because he wants his name on it and, whatever. Yet another golden thing that's going to, a golden fatted calf, right? And so he did that. And then his people jumped up and ran with it. Oh my God, we need the ballroom. This would have been avoided by the ballroom. No, it wouldn't. I mean, all they do is lie, guys. The ballroom seats 1,000 people. This event is 2,500 people, so the ballroom wouldn't work. One. Two, this is a private event. It's not a government event. The ballroom wouldn't be appropriate. Three, if they're going to play, and they went nuts up and through today on the ballroom thing. Oh my God, they're writing to courts. We have to have the ballroom. We have to have the ballroom, right? Well, if that's the case, if we have to have the ballroom because a shooting at a hotel means you can no longer use hotels, there was a shooting at Donald Trump's resort, which means you can no longer, an attempted shooting, which means you can no longer use Donald Trump's resorts either, right? Because last time I checked, one of the G meetings, I think it's the G20, is going to be held at Donald Trump's resort coming up soon. Well, there was a shooting at Donald Trump's resort. The guy was there ready to kill him, right? So we obviously can't do that. Oh, but that's okay. And you know why that's okay? You may not know this. Every time Donald Trump holds an event at a resort, guess who makes money off of it? Donald Trump. When Donald Trump goes to his resort in Mar-a-Lago and the Secret Service comes with him, Secret Service has to stay somewhere. They stay at Trump's resort. They have to stay at Donald Trump's resort because they got to be near Trump. They've got to pay Trump for the hotel rooms. When the Secret Service stays at Mar-a-Lago to protect Trump and Trump makes them go to Mar-a-Lago, the Secret Service has to pay Mar-a-Lago for the rooms. Yeah. Trump is now holding the G20 at Mar-a-Lago. One assumes because I know he's done this before, foreign governments are going to be paying for those rooms because foreign governments would have to pay for hotels otherwise. Trump makes them pay for rooms at his resort. I mean, it's sickening. It is sickening the level of corruption here. In any case, putting that aside, so the first thing Trump and his people tried to do is use the shooting for their partisan advantage or their political advantage to build his ballroom. And I have to say, I thought it was stupid, but a part of me was, again, almost impressed that the tackiest thing Trump was going to do to take advantage of the shooting, because you knew he was going to take advantage of the shooting, that the worst thing he was going to do was simply try to use the shooting to justify building his stupid ballroom. And I was like, okay. I mean, hey, will you stop, please? And I was like, okay. I mean, of all the horrible things he could do, like attacking Democrats and everything, you know, instituting martial law, whatever, he's trying to get his stupid ballroom built. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't approve, but again, for him, it was rather benign, right? It is too early for Sasha, thank you. It was a little benign for him. Well, that ended. We are now in full court of fascism press again. Trump, Melania, top members of Congress, all of his senior officials at the White House. Oh my God, Democrats caused this entire thing. Oh my God, they're so mean. Donald Trump is so nice. And those mean Democrats, why are people mean to Donald Trump? He's such a nice guy who unites the country and loves everybody, like Mr. Rogers. If Mr. Rogers was found liable for sexual assault, I mean, like, it's unbelievable. So they went nuts. Now this stuff I have to read you because today was all-out fascism day, all out. We had Saturday night that was great, Sunday less good. And today was fascism day. There is no more bringing the country together. It is. I have things I have to read you here. Norah O'Donnell, who is CBS News. She was with 60 Minutes, and she interviews Trump last night. And she says to him, because remember there was the manifesto. The guy said why he was going after Trump, etc. O'Donnell, the so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read. He writes this quote, "I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands in his crimes." What's your reaction to that? Trump, sorry, one moment here. Will you stop, please? It's early. Right. Oops, wait, there we go. So Trump, yep. I will read that again. It itches me every time I do it. I know, I have got to get the brush for this hair. I am no longer to permit, what's your reaction to that? Trump, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody. Oh, if you talk to the judge had something else to say about that. O'Donnell, this is my favorite quote. Oh, did you think he was referring to you? Thank you, Blue. I mean, it was the best quote in a very long time. She mentions this quote, and he immediately just assumes it's talking about him and gets all defensive. And she goes, oh, did you think the quote was referring to you? Which was fabulous. Trump, excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. I was totally exonerated. Your friends... Exonerated of what? No, he wasn't. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones who were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. You should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things, and I was never. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. Go ahead. Let's finish the interview. You're disgraceful. I love that she read it to him. By the way, CBS has been totally co-opted by Trump, so the idea that they actually asked him this question is pretty freaking, hey, stop, is pretty freaking wild. Hold on a second here. I've got other stuff to read you here. Oh, yes. So Trump, his people, and everybody are calling Democrats divisive. Democrats caused this. Democrats have a culture of violence. All this crap. And there was a wonderful video that I spotted that somebody put together, and I'm honestly not sure who put it together. And I'm very sorry, because I would like to give some liberal group or somebody credit for this. But let me hang on a second here, pull together videos. Is it not going to be this one? No, it's not that one. Here it is.
And Donald Trump took to Truth Social, branding Arizona Senator Mark Kelly and 5 other congressional Democrats as traitors who deserve the death penalty.
Over the weekend, Trump effectively said that Milley should be executed for treason.
The president reacting to Mueller's death on Truth Social, saying, "I'm glad he's dead."
Knock the crap out of him, would you? I will pay
Horrible
for the
stuff.
legal fees. If I say don't hurt him, then the press says, well, Trump isn't as tough as he used to be.
President Trump is responding to Rob Reiner's death, posting on Truth Social. Reiner's death was due to, quote, the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome.
The former president posted this photo of himself getting ready to swing a baseball bat next to a photo of Bragg. Today, Bragg's office received a package containing white powder and a threatening note.
I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like
Remember
that?
this
They'd
stuff?
be carried out on a
I forgot
stretcher,
some of these
folks.
things.
Like to punch him in the face.
I forgot some of these.
Trump tweeting, when the looting starts, the shooting starts.
Try not to hurt him. If you do, I'll defend you in court. We had some people, some rough guys like we have right in here, and they started punching back. It was a beautiful thing. I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that.
He's threatening riots if he gets charged with a misdemeanor. She says, does he know that, quote, potential death and destruction in such a false charge could be catastrophic for our country?
I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, I said, you can take the hand away, okay? Cowboys, stand back and stand by. Our country is under siege. We're going to the Capitol to make your voices heard, and you have to get your people to fight because you'll never.
And this isn't
take back our
even
country
all
like
of it.
this. If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
That's not even all of it. That's not even all of it. I was thinking of other stuff he did. Bob Mueller, Robert Mueller died. Robert Mueller, who did the investigation of the Russia stuff, former FBI director. Let me find you the exact quote from Trump about Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He literally, the president of the United States, right, tweeted that. He joked about Paul Pelosi. He laughed and joked about the fact that Nancy Pelosi, who was the Speaker of the House, a top Democrat, she still is a top Democrat in Congress, but she was the Speaker of the House. Actually, I think she's still there, right? Pelosi. I always forget whether Pelosi's still there. She's not running again at some point. Oh, no, this is the year I think she's not running again, I think. Paul Pelosi, her husband, 80, 81 years old, some nut job, so she is, thank you, Lamb Chop, some nut job comes to their house at 1 a.m, breaks in, looking for her and her husband. Only her husband, again, her husband's like 81, okay? Breaks in, ties her husband up, threatens him. The police, long story here, but the police find out that there's something going on, see through the window that Pelosi's 81-year-old husband is tied up, that a guy's got like a weapon. He had a hammer in his hand. Thank you, Sadie. Very nice. And the police barge in to catch the guy. And when he sees them coming in, he starts attacking Mr. Pelosi in the head with the hammer. An 81-year-old man being hit repeatedly in the head with a hammer. He had to go for, he was in intensive care. He had to go for surgery for 9 hours. Again, 81-year-old man, he had brain damage. I mean, it was horrific what happened to this poor. And again, for this to happen to anybody, let alone an 81-year-old man and the husband of a member of Congress. Trump and his family and Elon Musk and everybody else thought it was funny. Elon started sharing these weird conspiracy theories about Mr. Pelosi was with his gay lover. I mean, sick stuff, absolutely sick stuff. Trump thought it was funny. Trump literally joked about it. I wonder how Paul Pelosi's doing. And he laughs and the whole audience laughs. I mean, that was a whole other thing he did. I mean, the horrific, again, the elevation of violence from this man, the adulation of the just treating violence as some kind of wonderful thing. Really just I think his son did something too. I remember that too. Really horrific stuff. Remember when Trump posted the racist video depicting President Obama and Michelle Obama as gorillas? Remember that one? I don't think I've got any of the other ones right here. You know, what's going on with this is two things. One, they can't help themselves. This is what they do, right? But this is a major deflection from Epstein, a major deflection from the fact that our economy is in the tubes and people are freaking out about the economy and about inflation right now and jobs. It is a major deflection from Iran, which is a total disaster. We are losing that war. It is a total disaster what's going on in Iran. Even the German chancellor said today, we're screwed. America's screwed in that war. He compared it to Vietnam and Afghanistan, not Afghanistan, to Vietnam, to Iraq and Afghanistan that we lost. He's desperate. And rather than pivot and actually focus on the economy, which Trump should do, they've decided to do what they always do, which is the culture wars. Oh my God, Democrats are dangerous. Ari Fleischer today, who was one of the people who helped George Bush promote the lie that was the second Iraq war. Ari Fleischer today accused Barack Obama of being one of the most divisive presidents in American history. Look at his tweet. Obama put out this wonderful tweet about, we all need to come together and violence is wrong. And he called it one of the most divisive presidents ever just by his tweet. And you're like, well, if you mean he's black, yes, he is. Because very often when Republicans say, actually pretty much always when Republicans say that President Obama was the most divisive president in American history, they mean he was black. It's just, so I get why they do this because they're bad people, but it still strikes me as a very strange and bad thing that they do it. And again, couldn't Trump just pivot and focus on the economy? Would it kill him to do that? I mean, would that be such a bad thing to do? I don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, it's a very weird. It's just a very weird thing, Anyway, more stuff here. Even Trump. Listen to what Trump said today. Trump put out a meme because one of his memes, one of his pictures with words on it. I do think that the hate speech of the Democrats is very dangerous. I really think it's dangerous for the country. Get what he's doing there? He's basically trying to foment violence by claiming he's against violence, right? Oh, I'm so worried about violence that I'm going to claim that Democrats are dangerous for the country. Well, if an entire political party, if half the country is dangerous to the country, then somebody's going to try to stop them if they're dangerous to the country, right? I mean, he's intentionally using language. I think it's called stochastic terrorism, actually, which is this notion of using language that you don't call for terrorism, but you know that you're stoking anger and violence that will lead to terrorism, that will lead to violence, right? That you know what you're doing, or you should know what you're doing, kind of like January 6th, actually, where you know what you're doing is revving people up and directing them somewhere where they will do something illegal and violent. What else we got here? Oh, this was funny today, actually. Caroline Leavitt, the White House spokeswoman, claimed, she said, I'm paraphrasing here, those who have compared President Trump to H-Man from the German leader from World War II, whose name starts with an H, we don't like to use because I think Twitter wouldn't like it. Those who have compared Trump to H-Man are fueling violence. The only top political figure who compared Donald Trump to H-Man was J.D. Vance a couple years ago. Literally. Nobody has compared him to the H guy who ran Germany in World War II. Nobody. Thank you, Blue. J.D. Vance has. J.D. Vance directly compared him. I mean, really kind of amazing stuff. CNN's, Gunther just mentioned the CNN interview. I don't know if I have it actually. I've got it in my tweets. Let me see if I've got it. Dana Bash of CNN, who I actually like, I really do, got into some trouble because here we go. She's interviewing Jamie Raskin, who's a Democratic senator, a Democratic congressman. Let me just play I think I've got it.
You have, and as many of your fellow Democrats, have used some heated rhetoric against the president. And do you think twice about that when something like this happens?
What rhetoric do you have in mind?
Just talking about some of the fact that he, is terrible for this country and so on and so forth. I understand that that's your Democratic right.
CNN host asked the Democratic congressperson, basically, do you think maybe you had a role in this because you said that Donald Trump was bad for the country? She very interestingly, she uncharacteristic. I like her actually. I think she's a good journalist. To be honest, I really do, and I love CNN. CNN's my network. But she got called on it, and came out and tweeted and was like, "That wasn't what I was trying to say. If you look at the whole clip." I was watching it live on TV yesterday morning. I saw it. I remember watching it live and going, "Oh my God." I wrote a tweet that's done very well, basically saying just that. Like, look, I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm a huge fan of your network. You're the network I watch all day long here in Washington, D.C. But what you did was, and I said, first of all, I said, we all know that you agree. I know you can't say it, but you know Donald Trump is horrible for this country, and you know it. And when he's a horrible human being, you know it. I said, but you can't say that, and you're not supposed to say it as a journalist. That's fine. I said, second of all, if I'm being gracious, what I think you might have been trying to do is you were trying to say, well, Republicans are saying, right, that your language criticizing Trump contributed to this. Now, that's annoying, but I would stop. That's annoying, but I would have less of a problem with that, right? I think it's annoying, but if she said, well, one Republican congressman said blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's a little annoying, but I can help. But the way she did it, as if it was her opinion, going, with everything going on with the shooting this weekend, do you kind of regret saying that he was bad for the country? I think there's a couple problems here. First of all, she knows he's bad for the country. So I think there is an intellectual problem there. When you know something is in essence a lie, so to speak, or in this case, an ultimate truth, do you really try to question it, right? I mean, and in any case, she got into a lot of trouble for it, which I think was justified. I like her. Like I said, I still think she's a good journalist. But also the other problem is, Solaki says Dems calling Trump a bad president is not the same thing as Trump calling for violence. A, that's true. B, the other problem you get, did Don Lemon go after her? Oh, I'm sure he did. The other problem you get is, for anybody who says, some woman tweeted earlier today and said, I wasn't happy that Clinton and Obama won, but I didn't compare them to, NZ Germany. And I kind of tweeted at her and I said, that's like saying, why didn't anybody call any of the earlier German leaders H-man, right? Only the guy from the 1940s. They never called the guy from the 1920s H-man or the guy from the 19-teens. And it was like, because he wasn't, no Republican president has been credibly compared to that, has been credibly called a fascist, has been credibly called anti-American and un-American, has been credibly accused of promoting violence. No Republican and no Democrat, because they don't. Ronald Reagan, for all his flaws, no. Ronald Reagan was not a problem in that regard. Nor was George Bush, nor was Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, none of these guys, right? Donald Trump is unique. And the problem you get with this is, they say you shouldn't use these words. Well, isn't that just the perfect get out of jail free card for someone who is a fascist, for somebody who does want to end our democracy, right? To basically say, aha, right? If you go to the extremes, if you become such a bad president and such an evil president, and you make sure you go really far, like don't just go halfway, go all the way in breaking the laws and breaking the norms and violating the Constitution, because if you go that far, then it will be wrong and inappropriate for people to call you out, because that might suggest, who knows what somebody would do in response. If people accused you of trying to overthrow, for example, if people accused you of violently trying to overthrow the government, right? My God, that's a horrible accusation, right? That could inspire people to stand up to you and do something. So it's the weird irony of you provide an incentive for political leaders in this country to be even more extreme, because we at least want to believe, or Republicans want to believe, that you can only criticize them so much. But if you call them out for what they are, if what they are is very extreme, then you're responsible for violence and blah, 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 blah. So, you know what I mean? So it's a get out of jail free card for them being as extreme as they want. because the more extreme they get, the less you're allowed to call them out on it because you're an extremist for calling them out on their extremism. Yeah. And that is the problem. And honestly, that's the conundrum with all of this. I mean, right? How do you call somebody out if you think they're legitimately pro-violence and anti-Constitution, anti-American? If you think they legitimately are working for America's enemies, what do you do, right? I mean, it's a very, what you do is you still speak out. And thank God, I will say this, with Trump, I think what's been nice is across the board, you see people standing up to him and you see Democrats saying, oh, no, we're not going to stop calling him out for being all the things he is. That's not going to happen. But anyway, what else do we got here? Oh, that's true. Heritage. I have to mention this. Heritage Foundation tweeted, "We have a left-wing violence problem." Heritage Foundation is a MAGA think tank. It's like the biggest MAGA think tank here in Washington, D.C. They used to be Ronald Reagan and all of that, and then they threw out conservative republicanism and decided to be MAGA. So Heritage Foundation tweets today, "We have a left-wing violence problem in America." Except we don't. In the last 50 years, the preponderance of political violence, political murders have been right-wing. Cato Institute did the math on this. Since 1975, when 9/11 is, and they exclude 9/11 because so many people, 3,000 people died on 9/11. So many people died that the other numbers don't add up. But you can include 9/11, doesn't really matter. When 9/11 is excluded, most political violence comes from the right. Now, without 9/11, the percentage of political violence, political murders in America, 63% caused by the right wing in the last 50 years, 23% caused by Islamic, which I thought was interesting, right? Considering Trump's position on not just Islamic extremism, on Islam, the fact that Islamic extremists have committed 23% of the murders, but that's not really entirely fair because you should throw in 9/11 for them, right? So they have the top place with 9/11. But if you look at right versus left, right is 63%, left is 10%. And even if you include 9/11, go ahead, that's Islamic terror. The number of right-wing political murders in the U.S. in the last 50 years have been 6 times the number of left-wing political murders. 6 times. Historically, we have had a right-wing violence problem in this country. You can Google it. There's actually a really famous study that the Republicans basically freaked out at Obama about, because there was a study about just this, about right-wing extremism, about neo-Nazis and white supremacists, the crazy people, and the Republicans got it killed. Because, and again, just like CBS asked Trump, we're talking about neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Why do you think this is about you? Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're getting to the Russian grain. That's coming close. What else we've got here? Oh, this was good. New York Times. Now, this is what reporters should do. New York Times, Zolan Kanno-Youngs. He's the guy with the cool, funky afro that goes straight up like Simpsons on CNN. He's New York Times, but he's a CNN commentator. He's very good. Young guy. Zolan. I love the name Zolan. It sounds like the guy that sits inside the glass booth, the fake animated thing that gives you your fortune at the amusement park. Zolan. Give Zolan a quarter and he will give you his fortune. Doesn't it? Totally? Yeah. It's the carnival guy, Zolan. It's a great name. Zolan wrote about Trump accusing Democrats of being violent and promoting violence and everything else. And he threw this in. He said, left unmentioned is that Trump has also often delivered divisive rhetoric in the wake of tragedies in the national spotlight. Less than a day after the killing of actor and Democratic donor Rob Reiner by his son last year, Trump suggested Reiner's death was a result of his criticism of the president. So that's what you should be doing, putting things in context. I thought that was very good of him. The Hilton, people were asking what happened to the move. They had 2,600 steak and lobster dinners. What did they do with them? The Hilton donated the 2,600 dinners that went unserved. They freeze-dried the steak and lobster for longer shelf life before giving them to 2 shelters for abused women and children. That was kind of cool. I was wondering about that. I thought that was very cool, actually. And I love that it was like abused women and children, too, because somebody gave even more thought to it. 2,600 lobster and steak dinners. They're gonna be eating well for a while. That was very cool. So Iran. There isn't a ton of update on the Iran stuff, but it's, is it Hungarian? Zolan? Oh, Zoltan. Okay. The Iran story. So, okay. Remember on Friday that Trump was like, oh, right, 1 or 2 hours from the stocks closing, Trump was like, oh, we're waiting for a proposal from Iran, and I think it might surprise everybody. It could end the war. And the markets go, right? Oil prices come down, stock market goes, everyone fell for it. Like, at this point, you fall for it, you deserve it, right? Well, he lied, of course. Trump lied, nothing changed. We finally today found out about Iran's proposal. Iran's proposal is, and the scary part is Trump could accept this. Iran's proposal is, let's just reopen the Strait of Hormuz. You guys can bring your ships through. We can bring all of our ships through. There's no longer an embargo of Iran. And we'll deal with that pesky nuclear stuff some other day. That's Iran's proposal. That basically the number one reason for the war, number one reason, Trump had 50 reasons. He couldn't really delineate what they were. But the number one reason for the war, we think, to stop Iran's nuclear program, Iran is proposing, let's not even go there. Let's just reopen the Strait of Hormuz and we'll be done. And we lift the embargo of Iran's goods too. And the worst part, the experts are saying Trump could go for this because Trump is so desperate to end the war. Trump is so desperate to reopen the Strait of Hormuz because oil and gas prices went up again today. Gasoline is back to $4.12 a gallon. Remember, gasoline dropped under $4, I should say. It was dropped to $3 and change. It's back to $4.12 a gallon. At its high a couple weeks ago, before Trump lied and pretended they worked out this great deal, gasoline prices were up to $4.17. Now they're back to $4.12. This is on average regular per gallon in America. A gallon is 3.8 liters, depending where you live-ish. The West Texas crude is up 2.42% today to 96.68. British Brent is up 2.8% to 108. That's a lot. British is back to 108. U.S. is up to 96 or 97 a barrel. That's quite a lot. German Chancellor Merz, listen to this from the German Chancellor about the war. He says, here, you want another one? I'm slowly giving the dog her treats, but I don't have that many. German Chancellor Merz, it is quite obvious that the Americans have absolutely no coherent strategy whatsoever. And the fundamental problem with these kind of conflicts is always the same. It is not enough to simply get yourself in. You must also figure out how to get yourself out. We witnessed that reality quite painfully in Afghanistan over the course of 20 long years. We saw the exact same thing happen in Iraq. So this entire situation, as I've mentioned previously, is at the very least ill-considered. I do not see at this present moment what strategic exit the Americans are choosing, especially since the Iranians are either negotiating very skillfully or just as effectively refusing to negotiate at all. Making the Americans travel to Islamabad and then leave empty-handed there is there is a sense that a whole nation is being humiliated by the Iranian leadership, particularly the Revolutionary Guards. He means we're being humiliated. The Iranians are proving stronger than initially expected, and the Americans do not appear to have a convincing or coherent strategy for negotiations. Ow! So let's talk about Israel and Ukraine. Oh boy. So I always have to preface these conversations by saying I tend to be somebody who defends Israel a lot. It's complicated. Gaza stuff, not so thrilled. Also not thrilled with 100 years of Palestinian terrorism. Very nuanced point of view of Israel versus the Arabs. It is a very long conflict. Both sides have done things to each other. Neither side is innocent. I'm sorry. Israel, Gaza, totally different story. But going back 100 years, both sides, bad things. That's my take. But this is important because the story I'm going to tell you is Israel playing games like fucking arrogant, obnoxious games from Israel today. Israel is buying Russian grain that the Russians stole from the Ukrainians. And we know they stole it from the Ukrainians. Right? And the Israelis are buying it. They had one shipment arrive recently. And the second shipment just arrived right now. And I think it's in Haifa. It's in a ship. Everyone's been complaining about it. The Ukrainians complained about it publicly. And the Israeli foreign minister had the nerve. I'm going to read you this from the Israeli foreign minister, the rudest, most arrogant thing I have read in a very long time. And I tweeted at him and told him as much. I mean, just the arrogance of these people blows my mind. Hang on a second. I'm going to read you this. Absolutely, like I said, absolutely freaking arrogant. Where is this? Sasha, stop. Hey, stop it. Oops. Okay, I need to go to replies. Twitter is always so weird under Elon. You can't find stuff that you actually wrote. You know? Hold on a second here. Here we go. I wanted to find what he wrote though. Shoot, where is this? Hang on. Oh, here we go. Here's the Israeli foreign minister writing to the Ukrainians. Dear minister, diplomatic relations, especially between friendly nations, are not conducted on Twitter or in the media. Allegations are not evidence. Evidence substantiating the allegations has yet to be provided. That's a fucking lie. The Ukrainians provided the evidence. You did not even submit a request for legal assistance before turning to the media and social networks. The matter will be examined. Israel is a state that abides by the rule of law. Yeah. All Israeli authorities will act in accordance with the law. Yeah. One thing you'll notice with what the foreign minister wrote, there was no denial. The foreign minister did not deny that the boats. The Ukrainians named the boats. We know the names of the boats. We know the ports the boats are sitting in. And the Israeli foreign minister doesn't deny the charge. He gets arrogantly annoyed at the Ukrainians for going public with the allegation. Now, this shit just pisses me off. It really does. I mean, this shit just pisses me off. You know, it's like, and I really mean it. I mean, they got us into this war, and they did. And I'm sorry, they did. Again, I support Israel, but they got us into the freaking war. They told Trump, from all accounts, from Trump and his people, they told Trump, we're going in anyway. They're going to turn around and attack U.S. troops in the region. We, meaning Israel, is going to go in and attack Iran. They're going to attack U.S. troops in the region. And if you don't want your soldiers to get killed, you better attack Israel first before Israel. You better attack Iran first before they attack you. And Trump said, we don't have a choice. We've got to go in anyway. I mean, we support them to such a degree. And again, I do support Israel. I do. They do bad things. Call them out on it. I agree. But this conflict is way more complicated than Gaza. This stuff goes back 100 years, and the murder of innocent civilians in Israel, of Israeli babies, goes back just as long as the Palestinians getting killed. Both sides, bad things. But for them to sit here and jack us around the way they do and jack Ukraine around the way they do. Let me read you this. This was from Barak Ravid. Barak Ravid is an Israeli journalist who works for Axios. He's very good, very independent, and very objective. He writes today. This was in Hebrew, but translated by Twitter. Israel could have benefited from Ukraine and the knowledge it accumulated in the fields of drone warfare. #1 in the world. In Israel, they were dismissive of Ukraine's expertise. They were dismissive and still are dismissive. Netanyahu's government still prefers an alliance with Putin and the import of stolen wheat from the Ukrainian territories under occupation. Basically, Netanyahu and his people think Ukraine, again, like Trump, Ukraine has nothing to offer us, and Ukraine's #1 in the world now on defeating drones, nothing to offer us. And the Netanyahu wants a good relationship with Putin, and he wants the grain. He's getting the grain for cheap. He doesn't care if it's stolen from the Israelis, right? I mean, really, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. Mali is in trouble. Actually, Mali is collapsing, which is very bad. The rebels, like the Islamic extremist rebels, are basically taking over the country. They're heading towards Bamako this weekend, which is the capital. The Russians, interestingly, were supporting the military government. There's a number of military governments in Western Africa there, right? You know, Mali and the region there, like 5 or 6, I forget kind of all the countries. And the Russians just pulled out. The Russians were like, we're out of here. Like, they're not even helping their ally, the military government. Military government is collapsing. And I mean, honestly, this is very bad if Mali is taken over by a radical Islamic, like, terrorists. I mean, very bad stuff. And again, very sad. I've been to Mali. Very wonderful country, wonderful people, incredibly poor. At the time I went 25 years ago, it was one of the 5 poorest countries in the world, and just the loveliest people. I mean, lovely people. Very, very sad. Great music too. What else we got here? Current Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Many of our former strengths, built on our close ties to the United States, have become weaknesses. The U.S. has changed. That's their right, and we are responding. We are deepening our partnerships with our closest allies, including the EU, the Nordic countries, and Australia. We're literally losing the world under this guy. Washington Post reports that the Trump administration's move to drop the long-standing recommendation for newborn hepatitis B vaccinations within 24 hours of birth will likely lead to additional infections and millions in added healthcare costs, new study shows. Hang on a second here. Oh, Kash Patel. Kash Patel is toast. Politico is reporting that it is now only a matter of time before FBI Director Kash Patel is out. Remember, he of the Olympic fame, drinking. And he, quote, "It is only a matter of time," the official who granted an immunity told me. There are several reasons, the official said. Listen to this. But top among them is the number of negative stories centered on Patel is, quote, "not a good look for a cabinet secretary." He's not a cabinet secretary. And Trump is fed up with the level of distraction. That's what I thought, that we'd get to the point where Trump basically felt like it was getting embarrassing. Trump doesn't like embarrassing news. I mean, no one likes it, but Trump really doesn't like it. I would say, too, as much as Trump likes his, like the frat boy thing, I wonder actually about the frat boy thing. I wonder whether Trump likes the frat boy thing, to be honest. Because I think there's a part of Trump that finds it very boorish. I think Trump finds it very low class. I mean, he is, right, himself, but still he looks at others, I think, and finds them very low class when they're, drunks and drink a lot or accused of being drunks, like Hegseth or Patel being accused of drinking too much and this kind of stuff. I think Hegseth doing the chugging at the Olympics, I don't know. I think knowing Trump, because think of how much Trump worries about the look and whether these people look the part. Yeah. Anyway, so that's up for what's his face? Capel. Patel, Capel. Crunching the name together. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for the news. Let's hang and talk our usual. I'm going to adjust so I can sit back a little bit here. Burp. Alrighty. Hello dog. I know. I'm going to sit back while I talk to you. Did Kash ever look the part? I mean, he's also a little guy. I don't think he looks the part for FBI director. I don't know, how tall is he? He looks like incredibly short too. Like incredibly short. Maybe he isn't, but he looks it. Alexa, how tall is Kash Patel? Alexa, how tall is Kash Patel? Oh, 5'9". He's my height. Okay. But for an FBI director, he looks like a little gnome. I don't think he looks impressive enough to be FBI director. Mueller was tall and impressive. Kash Patel does not look the part. Yeah. You are right, Storm Rider. He's exactly 5'9", at least according to Alexa. So, you think he's less? Maybe he's less. I mean, all the pictures make him look very short, unless everybody else is tall. He doesn't look 5'9", no. He looks very short. Let me see here. I can ask ChatGPT. Hold on. Let me ask ChatGPT. Hey, boyfriend, I want you to go online and look around a little bit and see if you can tell me how tall is Kash Patel? And don't just trust him claiming it or something. Are there any sources that legitimately say how tall he really is? I found something claiming 5'9", but I don't know whether that's true.
There's some disagreement on Kash Patel's height. One source says he's about 5'9", while another places him closer to 5'7.5". So there isn't a definitive number, but it's roughly in that range.
Tell me about the 5'7.5" source. That sounds right.
There's some disagreement about Kash Patel's height. One source, Celebrity Heights, lists him at about 5 feet 7.5 inches, while another source claims he's around 5'9". Since there's no official or verified measurement, his exact height is still uncertain.
We would have to see a photo of him next to somebody whose height we know. For example, Donald Trump repeatedly lies about his height. Donald Trump actually claims that he grew several inches in his 70s. So, right? Everybody shrinks. Donald Trump grew. Trump used to be 6'1", then he was 6'2", then he was 6'3". But the best part is there's photos of him which we put like next to Obama and next to Clinton. And I think Obama and Clinton might both be 6'2" or 6'3". Alexa, how tall are President Obama and President Clinton? Oh, interesting. Clinton is 6 feet 2 inches and a half. Obama's 6 foot 1 inch and a half, and Trump is basically smaller than both of them, as I recall. He's either equal to Obama or smaller, and certainly less than Clinton. And he claims he's 6'3". And it's like, sure you are, Anyway, oh man, dog, I know. Relax, please. Relax. Anyway, Gene Simmons boots. Who's got those? Well, everyone's shrinking. Are you kidding? I Googled this. Apparently, we all shrink as of age 40. 40 is when you start shrinking. I was like, no. So, what, or 40, or no, I think it's 45. 40 or 45, you start shrinking. Yeah. So, if you haven't gotten your height checked in a while, look out. Look out. You may not be happy. I had a doctor's office like about a year or two ago measure my height, and I went, that's not my height. She goes, yeah, it is. Do it again. She goes, yeah. I was like, oh no. And she goes, you lose height as you get older. I was like, stop it. Half an inch, but I lost half an inch. I was pissed. I think, half an inch I lost. It's like, damn. So what do you do? From everything I've read, I might lose another quarter inch, I read. Maybe another quarter inch and then it's done. Maybe. But still, I was like, that sucks. Half an inch after back surgery? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, no, it's not a good. Oh, do you want to go out there again? Here, all right, go on out. Go on out again. All right. No? That's what I thought. We just wanted to pretend. You just wanted to pretend you wanted to go out there again. Okay. NASA scientist. What's up with NASA scientists? Your dad lost 3 inches? Oh, stop. Stop. I don't want to hear that. Oh, my God. Half an inch jumping out of planes? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So like landing on the ground? Wow. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. Oh my God. I forgot to mention, Justin, thank you. I totally forgot to mention Jimmy Kimmel. So Trump and Melania went on a tear today. They're trying to get Jimmy Kimmel, the comedian, fired again. Remember they were trying to get the guy fired a year ago? They're trying to get him fired again today. And they're hoping that the assassination thing is like their golden goose or whatever the hell it is to be able to get him fired this time. And Melania, oh my God, Melania. Hold on. Melania's quotes were the best ever. I mean, hold on. Hers were just absolutely stunning from her. Hang on here. Melania tweeted that Jimmy Kimmel's rhetoric, a comedian, Jimmy Kimmel's rhetoric is hateful and violent and intended to divide our country. And he shouldn't be on television. She doesn't want somebody on television whose rhetoric is hateful and violent and intended to divide our country. Melania Trump. Who would that be? That would be her husband. I mean, thank you, Stormy. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate it. I mean, it's, they're unbelievable. And again, wouldn't it be nice if Melania Trump, I don't know, maybe weighed in on inflation? That'd be nice, right? But we're weighing in on, we're trying to ban comedians on television like some fascist government or like the Soviet Union or communist China. I mean, like, how about, I don't know, like I said, focus on inflation? maybe release the other 3 million Epstein files, right? How about, I don't know, you kind of have us now in an endless war in Iran. Maybe you could work on that for a while versus the king. Oh my God, King Charles arrives and you see Trump meeting with him and going, he's telling the king about his ballroom. The first thing he tells the king, he's pointing at his new ballroom. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, I don't really care, do you? Well, Rick Wilson tweeted, what was the quote from Trump? Piggy? He tweeted a piggy comment back to her, which was quoting Trump's comment, which was pretty wild. Anyway. Yeah, he made a joke. He made a joke prior to the assassination attempt. Well, you know what? Unless you're psychic, you're allowed to do that. Hey, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that. You don't get to say, oh, that joke wasn't bad. Because you know what? Actually, here's the comeback. Yeah, quiet piggy. Here's the comeback. They're saying, oh, Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about Melania wanting to be a widow a couple days before the shooting or the attempted shooting. And it's like, okay, but he's not psychic, so there's nothing. Either the joke is okay or the joke isn't okay. But unless he's psychic, it doesn't matter. Let me see if I can find Caroline Levitt. Here we go. Let me show you what the White House spokeswoman said the night of the shooting right before.
Rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward.
Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. That's what Democrats need to bring out and go, really? 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 Jimmy Kimmel's a problem? Jimmy Kimmel's a problem. I mean, oh yeah, and that one's real. I'm actually going to share that one right now now that we're talking about this. Hold on. I'm saying Jimmy Kimmel's the problem. She calls for shots fired. Hey! Right before shots were fired. Oops. There we go. Will you stop? Oh my God. The beggar. Caroline Levitt, exactly. Ha 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 ha. Let's see. I don't know if I have anything else here to show you. Oh, I don't have the... Oh my God, I do have the video. I have the video of it. Oh my God. Oh my God. So this was on CNN. I think this is CNN. And you've got the Secret Service on the podium, right? They've just escorted Trump out, and the Secret Service is on the podium with these long weapons and the battle gear, right? Keep an eye on this guy sitting at his table, okay? Keep an eye on this guy sitting at his table. Oops.
In that room, you've got Scott Bessent in that room. You have Tulsi Gabbard in that
There we go.
room. You, of course, have J.D.
He's grabbing his food and eating.
After the President of the United States. And as John mentioned, the White House...
He's just eating. There's somebody on the floor next to him. Look at the lady on the floor next to him. Everybody's on the floor. Look at this guy's getting on the lady's on the floor next to him. The Secret Service is there with their guns, and he's reaching out, eating his lobster. It's like la la la. There we go, eating his food. Now, this guy's fabulous. The story about it, he's some older journalist type, and the story about him was he got interviewed, and he goes, I'm an old guy. I've got a bad back. He goes, they told us all to get on the floor, but I can't get on the floor. He goes, first of all, I can't get on the floor with my back. He goes, second of all, if I got on the floor, I wouldn't be able to get up, and we would have had to get multiple people to lift me off the ground. He goes, so the sensible thing to do was just stay in my chair, and I was hungry. Salad guy. I mean, absolutely brilliantly beautiful, that one. That just, I thought, was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen, right? But I love, he's like, I'm old. The lady is on the ground next to him on the ground, and he's like, and then the guy with the machine gun is in front of him. Oh God. No, like I said, I'm going to look and see if I've got the quote. I may have the quote.
The so-called
I have to see if I've got the quote. Oh, I have the manifesto quote. Hang on. Oops, 1 second here. I know I grabbed his quote. Hang on. Although I would have told you if I had it. Maybe I didn't have it. Because I would have told you. Hold on. Only because I would have put it in my summary had I... Oh, this is going to bum me out. Oh, let me see here. Levitt. Come on. Beep, 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 beep. I definitely saw it today, but, oh. I'm also not convinced that this was a security failure. I was going to mention that too. Well, I'm looking for this. Secret Service did its job. The guy was stopped. The guy didn't get near the president. He didn't get near the cabinet. He stopped, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure that this was a security failure, to be honest. I mean, he got into the hotel. Yeah. Everybody got into the hotel. So, oh, I've got it. Inside the ballroom, as guests took shelter under tables and behind chairs, Michael Glantz, a top agent at Creative Artist Agency, stayed in his seat and picked at the burrata on his plate. A stark contrast to the chaotic scene unfolding and one that was captured live on CNN and went viral on social media. On Sunday, Mr. Glantz said he did not consider leaving his seat. Quote, "First of all, I have a bad back," he said. "I couldn't get on the floor, and if I did get on the floor, they'd have to bring in people to get me off the floor. And number two, I'm a hygiene freak. There was no freaking way I was getting in my new tux on the dirty Hilton floor. It was not happening." I mean, I can't believe I was going to tell you guys this and I missed it. Is that not the funniest damn thing you've ever heard? I love that. My new tux, I was not getting on that floor. It was not happening. I almost hear a little bit of a snap out of that guy too, to be honest. I was like, oh my God. Exactly. Priorities. There was burrata on my plate. You wanted me to miss the burrata? But I love that. The gun and everything. And he's like, you'd think you wouldn't thank you for the gift there for the tiara. Thank you. You'd think at the very least he wouldn't be kind of hungry. Like you'd be looking around, kind of going, right? No. No. La, la, la. Anyway, very funny stuff. But it went totally viral because people were like, dude. And it is true, like that's balls. He ought to be I'm surprised he was a talent agent. He ought to be a journalist. That's like old school journalism stuff. Like, I wasn't going to get on the floor. Who's going to pick me up, right? And you think I'm going to put my new tux on that floor? I love that. I'm a hygiene freak. Not gonna happen. Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's what it'd be like. He'd be a war correspondent type, you know. I've met people like him in my life, the old journalists, you know, just very interesting. Patel was standing around at one point. His girlfriend was in the bathroom with some other guy holding hands. I mean, I think holding hands because she was scared, but that was the report. Anyway, the guy ran like the Flash. Oh, wait, you mean the shooter or what? The video of the shooter looked like he ran like the Flash. Yeah. Yes, I actually started doing, JTA, I started doing my yoga today. Because my back keeps getting way too tight. So I did yoga this afternoon. So I'm gonna try to do it every day because I need to be stretching. My back is getting way too tight. I don't know why, but hopefully that'll help. Info on the shooter? I mean, we've already got the info on it. There wasn't really any new info today. California guy, young, educated, had enough of Trump. Kind of weird. I still think there's something. I mean, I don't know. Something about this yoga will help you not shrink. Little late for that, but that's good to know. No, I know. I've seen her before, Adrienne. Yeah. No, I did one today that was especially for your back that felt very good. Cause like a lot of, different kind of, like cat-cow stuff like this for different parts of your back. It was very good. So, But no, I'm gonna try to do it every day if I can because I need to, and see if it helps. Oops, I'm forgetting what we were saying otherwise. What else? Oops. Couple more pieces here. Oh, it's 7:16. Actually, we're pretty much done. People. I'm not going to go too late tonight because, again, the voice thing, although my voice is doing pretty well right now. Went to a restaurant that was very loud this weekend, and it made it so that I could feel I was getting scratchy voice, and I was like, oh no. So we weren't getting served anyway, so we left. Because we were there for dessert. We had dinner at one restaurant, went to another for dessert. 20 minutes later, the waiter had still not even come by as an initial come by, and we were like, okay, bye-bye. But also, my voice was getting me worried. That's the other thing. I mean, look, Paula asked if it was staged. Here's the thing. I do not think it was staged. If you ask me if Donald Trump would stage something like this, we all know who Donald Trump is. But I'm not convinced he staged this. So let's put that would be my response to that. I'm not convinced. A lot of people think so. And frankly, and I forgot what's her face, who I really like, the Latino former Republican from Florida. What's her name? Anna, somebody help me out. You know who I mean. Anna. Last name might start with a C, I think. Not Cabrera. Navarro. I'm mixing her up with Ana Cabrera. Navarro. She said, look, the man's a pathological liar. It's not surprising people think this was staged. He lies about everything. And that's exactly my point, is I'm not surprised, and I don't think it's unreasonable that people think so, because he lies about everything. And he's an inherently dishonest man. So, but it looks real. The guy looks real. He looks crazy. If it was him, it looks a little crazy. And I don't mean crazy because he did it. I mean crazy like, you thought you were going to get close enough to him in a ballroom? Why did you think that? Like, what was he thinking? I mean, I just don't understand what he was even thinking, right? He was going to run, and first of all, you would put on a nice suit and go 1 year and check it out, and then the next year you'd go back for real, now that you know the layout, or I don't know, but it just seemed weird. The whole thing seemed impulsively weird. Exactly, not a coherent guy. That's my sense. I get the sense just from the story that I sadly think, just because I pity him a little bit, I think he has mental issues. I think it didn't like the Charlie Kirk shooter. Well, you still have to have some issues there, right? The Charlie Kirk shooter thought it out. That was an assassin. That was a professional job for a kid. It was a professional job. This seemed like a weird thrown together thing. And I just think, I think, again, the Charlie Kirk thing was horrible, but he knew what he was doing so that it didn't seem crazy that he was doing it. Meaning you can't pull this off, right? That kid knew what he was doing. He could pull it off. This one, it seems like, why would you think you could pull this off? You almost have to have a little bit of crazy to even think you could do it. Then you get into the issue of crazy that you did, like even the Charlie Kirk thing. Wanting to kill him? I mean, again, we've talked about this. I don't like Charlie Kirk. I think his views are horrific. You don't kill him. I mean, so you still have mental issues, I think, when you kill people like that. You know what I mean? And again, Charlie Kirk, I did a lot of videos on him. His views were horrific. I mean, really horrific, nasty stuff towards blacks and others. You don't kill him. I mean, that's just crazy. Thank you, Kevin. Now, is that a goat? But this one seems even crazier because it seemed like, what made you think you could even pull this off? You almost have to be a little twisted to think you could pull this off. Yep, which goat would that be? Was that Kevin, I think I said? Christmas goat, Halloween goat, pickle, yodeling pickle in lieu of goat, giant goat, regular goat. Let us know, Kevin. Or somebody, make sure you pin it when Kevin says, if he says. Otherwise, we'll pick one. He seemed to be very fast from the video we saw. Yes. Oh, that's true. We have the hamster. That's true. We do have the repeating hamsters as well. This is true. Oh, that's what happened, Gunther. You know, I heard about it. Gunther says D.C. mistakenly placed several Australian flags instead of British flags near the White House ahead of King Charles' visit, although the error was quickly corrected. I saw the report on it, but I didn't know that's what happened. I saw them say they're replacing Australian flags near the White House with British flags, and I thought there was some Australian visit they were honoring, and now they're honoring the British visit. I didn't realize they put the wrong flag up. That's funny. I totally did not realize that. Did Kevin pick a goat? It's fine. You don't have to, Kevin. Otherwise, I'm going to pick one for you. Then I'm going to pick I'm going to do the chipmunk and the Halloween goat. Halloween and chipmunk. That was different. With the repeating gerbil, that was kind of funny actually. That was different actually. That wasn't bad. That was not bad. Anyway. All right, guys. The king is still the Canadian head of state. Well, he was on the currency when I was there like 10 years ago. Or was 10 years ago? Was he still on the currency? He must have been. I remember always thinking it was very strange that the king was, or the queen was still on the currency in the Commonwealth. I was like, I asked Canadians about that. I forgot when, maybe back in like 1990 or 93. And I asked them, I said, does it not seem weird to you that the queen is on your currency? And they were like, no. I was like, okay, seems weird to me. It just seems kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like, I get you're part of the Commonwealth. Still seems a bit odd. Better than Donald Trump on your currency, but still, Anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to go because it's already 7:23. I don't want to go too long because of my back. Thank you for joining today. Thank you for your support, for helping everybody. I'll be back tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern, the usual. We'll talk about what's going on with the shooting in Iran and Ukraine and everything else, our usual. And just thank you for joining. All right? Thank you, everybody. I will do my usual. I'll start with Discord. Then we'll get to Substack and YouTube by Discord. Then we'll get to Substack and YouTube. Everybody else, and then TikTok, you are last. All right, Substack, YouTube, etc. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.